How's it going today, guys? Today we're going to be doing a breakdown comparison of the new Garmin Kraken trolling motor with Minn Kota's latest and greatest Quest series trolling motor. This video we're going to be particularly talking about the Riptide Instinct Quest, but there's also other trolling motors that can compare very nicely and share almost all the same exact features as the Riptide Instinct Quest series. For example, one to note is the Ultra Quest. I have all Minn Kota's trolling motors linked down below in the description so you can check them out, along with all of Garmin's trolling motors as well. That way you guys can see what I'm talking about as well and determine which motor is best for your boat. That way you're not wasting money and you're getting the most use out of your money. So that being said, if you haven't hit subscribe yet, be sure and do so. We're trying to get to 1,000. Let's get there together. And if you haven't hit the like button on this video yet, be sure and hit the like button on this video. That way it helps this video get out to more people. And with that being said, let's start this comparison. So the first thing I wanted to mention on these trolling motors is the new brushless design on both of these trolling motors. Basically what that's going to allow you to do is have a more efficient trolling motor rather than running out your battery. Your battery's going to last longer and you're going to be able to use your trolling motor longer as well. That's the same thing on both of them. So that brings us to the next thing, is the mount. They both have the same pivotal style mount. That way it saves space on your vessel, especially for those vessels with deep V hulls. That way it allows you to store them in the most efficient way. Same mounts, pivotal style. And with that being said, that brings us to the next thing, which is the features on them. Really, the features are really the same. They both have spot log. You can make routes with both of them. There's an app that goes with both of them that gives you more connectivity with the trolling motor and allow you to have a few extra features as far as being able to utilize your trolling motor to do unique things for you, like routes and autopilot and all that. That's really great. The app really helps expand on that even further on top of the remote that comes with the trolling motor. Anyways, that brings us to the next point, which is also something I mentioned in the beginning of the video, how Minn Kota had other models of trolling motor. The Kraken model is the only model of this sort that Garmin has. However, the black ones, which are for freshwater, have a transducer on the bottom, which is a GT56 UHD. That's basically a transducer on the bottom of your trolling motor. Same thing for the Minn Kota, just not in the Instinct Quest series. It's only going to be in the Ultra Quest series and a few of the other series, but the Ultra Quest is the closest to the Riptide Instinct Quest. The Ultra Quest does have that transducer on it. It's basically going to be a very similar transducer to the Garmin. Just know that the next point is a point for you to watch out for. That is, they both integrate really well with their own brands. Now, a lot of people might not realize this, but Minn Kota is Humminbird. Humminbird is Minn Kota. They're owned by Johnson Outdoors, so the same company. They're meant to be compatible with each other. And then obviously Garmin is compatible with Garmin. So if you have Garmin displays and a Garmin trolling motor, you're going to be able to access a few more features on your Garmin trolling motor, like making routes and stuff like that. You can control it from your display. Same thing with the Humminbird trolling motor. The Humminbird fish finder with a Minn Kota trolling motor. Those are features that you're not going to be able to mix and match. You're going to have to go with those brands if you want the extra features. Another thing is with the Garmin that the Minn Kota does not have is the Garmin has the cable for the LVS34 or any live scope system where the cable can be managed through the shaft of the trolling motor, basically giving your cable protection from you cutting it on your live imaging transducer. Minn Kota has a Mega 360 and they don't have that feature on their trolling motor. However, that's just to show you how well that these trolling motors integrate with their brands as opposed to other brands. These brands, they really try to push you to keep everything with their brand, like keep all your displays Garmin and your trolling motor Garmin. And Minn Kota wants you to keep everything Humminbird. That way you guys can have more features with their trolling motor from Minn Kota. So basically that's what I wanted to say on that, is that if you have that brand of GPS or chart plotter, especially if you have like a smaller boat and some of these other things that we're going to talk about next might not really affect you too much, and you really just want to have the best connectivity with everything on your boat, then you might want to just go with a trolling motor that matches your brand of GPSs, like the Garmin trolling motor, go with Garmin GPSs, and the Minn Kota trolling motor, go with Hummingbird displays. That's just something to point out. That way you guys know that in terms of being able to access extra connectivity and extra features on the trolling motor, to be able to use it to the fullest, you got to use their display brands. But that brings us to the next point, and that is the auto stow and deploy, which Minn Kota features, however Garmin does not. Garmin doesn't have auto stow and deploy on their trolling motors, so you got to manually auto stow and deploy your trolling motor. However, Minn Kota does have some other models as well, like the Tarova models, that is manual as well. However, if you wanted to have that auto stow and deploy feature on like the Ultra Quest or the Instinct Quest, they both have the feature for auto stow and deploy. Basically what that is, you hit a button and it'll put out the trolling motor by itself or relay it. Now, some people don't like that because extra moving parts means extra things can break. They both have a 3-year warranty on them, so that's a great warranty on them. Trolling motors are almost like boat motors. You know, things are gonna happen on them. Don't expect them to be perfect. However, it's not uncommon for them to be perfect through most of their life. Things do happen on trolling motors more often than people realize. However, that's just one feature that Minn Kota has that Garmin has not yet been able to apply to their system, is the neat auto stow and deploy feature. That brings us to the next thing I want to talk about, which is a really big thing, especially for guys fishing saltwater, which is the thrust factor. And Minn Kota at 24 volts puts out 90 pounds of thrust, and at 36 volts puts out 115 pounds of thrust. Whereas Garmin, they did claim at first that they were the industry leader in the most thrust. I believe they haven't changed their website since Minn Kota has released their latest trolling motor. However, their trolling motor at 36 volts puts out 100 pounds of thrust compared to 115 from Minn Kota, and at 24 volts, 80 pounds of thrust as opposed to 90 pounds of thrust from Minn Kota. So Minn Kota is going to beat them on the pounds of thrust, which is going to be nice because that's going to help hold you over your spots, especially when Mother Nature picks up, conditions start to get harsh, it starts to get windier, and it starts to get wavier. Now, if you're on a smaller boat, you know, this difference in thrust might not really make too big of a difference because you might not be out in, let's say, 3-4 foot chop and needing a trolling motor to hold you over a spot. Whereas somebody in saltwater, I know, especially the guys that like to run offshore, is that this thrust factor is really the biggest game changer for us, because the thrust allows us to keep us over our spots even as conditions change. Now, obviously it's not going to work in like 6 footers, but you know, you should really question it if you're going to be out there in 6 footers. Hopefully you have a larger boat. Anyways, that brings us to the next thing, which I just wanted to say, is that Minn Kota has been in this market for longer than Garmin. Now, Garmin did have their previous Just the Force models, which was really an all freshwater trolling motor. It's really designed for bass boats, but Minn Kota has been doing this for a while. They've been doing saltwater boats and freshwater boats of this style trolling motor for years now. So they've had a lot of time to really perfect their trolling motors, perfect their features, the functionality of their trolling motors, to be able to make it last better. Not to say that Garmin's isn't great. Garmin is a big company. They do a lot of great things with their products. You know, they have a lot of knowledge, they have a lot of expertise around them because they've been doing in this business for a long time. You know, they're already more established in the marine industry, much more than a Hummingbird is, and probably even freshwater as well. You know, Garmin is great. However, for making trolling motors, Minn Kota has been doing this a lot longer than Garmin has. And you know, Garmin still hasn't quite been able to figure out all the new issues that might arise with the new Kraken motors, just because they haven't been able to have them out on the market at mass for long enough. So once you do that, you start to realize some of your issues, and then you can develop better products from there. Minn Kota's been doing it for a while, and I also think that's part of the reason why you see their motors with more thrust and all that, because they just have more experience, they have the know-how, they have the staff, they have the system already built. You know, they didn't start from scratch like Garmin did. However, they're both great trolling motors. I hope this video was helpful. I hope you guys can determine which trolling motor is right for you, for your boat. That way you guys can make the best decisions for what you need on your vessel. With that being said, I have them linked down below in the description, so check them out. If you haven't subscribed yet already, be sure and hit subscribe. We're trying to get 2,000 subscribers. And if you haven't hit the like button on this video yet, be sure and hit the like button on this video. That way helps me get this video out to more people. And with that being said, signing off, and until next time.